Hey guys, Zibboyeye or just Zib is fine, and today we're talking about my favorite cartoon of 2019. Actually, it's the only cartoon of 2019 I watched, so based on the Disney classic, based on the book significantly less popular than the Disney classic, 101 Dalmatian Street set a distinctive and comfy seat for itself in the current day of cartoons. Almost everywhere else in the world before America. But now as it's on Disney Plus in the US, it's more available for new fans to discover. But what about 101 Dalmatian Street is worth discovering? Well, let's get right into it and find out. The show centers around the Dalmatian family, of which most episodes tend to focus on siblings Dylan and Dolly, your strict neat freak and free-spirited rule breaker respectively. A classic foil pair, but the unique world and variety of character relationships give it enough nuance to feel fresh and new. Speaking of characters, there are a few others in the show, such as Dante, Deepak, Dawkins, Dimitri 1, Dimitri 2, Dimitri 3, Delgado, Da Vinci, DJ, Diesel, Destiny, Dallas, Deja Vu, Dizzy, Dee, Dorothy, their dad, their hot mom. As for non-family members, you have Roxy, Snowball, Hansel, Clarissa, Portia, Spencer, Story Art, Constantine, Girl, the police officer, Horse, Fergus, Sid, Big Fee, and finally 50 nuts! No wait, actually, that's about it. Okay, so we have a big cast, but of course most only occasionally get focus. Or should I say the spotlight?
I'm out.
Although many appear archetypical at first, the characters have an accumulative value. Like finding Dawkins the genius has a sensitive side, or that Deepak the meditator worships a cat deity. What you see in an episode is only part of what you get, and the more and more you watch, the more and more the characters expand due to the variety of scenarios the show puts them in. I'd say a great example of this is Hansel, a Siberian husky whom Dolly feels fondness towards. At first, he may just seem like Dolly's love interest, a trope in cartoons that's often used as little more than a plot device to motivate the character into silly situations. But Hansel is given more depth. He's not your average Josh Sharp. Did I really just reference 2012 LPS? Like Dolly, Hansel is a skater, but cool dude isn't his whole character. A few episodes after his first appearance, Poetry Scam reveals he's an intellectual, artsy type with a love for poetry. He has a geeky role-playing side. He has his own conflicts.
I come from a long line of macho huskies. Just try telling them you're a poet.
And he totally has the hots for Dylan.
Now, Dylan, talk to me about dots, spots, cloud metaphors.
Oh, it would be my pleasure.
It threatens my Dylan Fergus ship hard, but they're so cute together. With this huge a cast, I was astonished they were able to fit this much into a character with such few appearances in the grand scheme of the series. My favorite character though is probably Fergus, a fox and Dylan's best friend, which according to the Disney Wikia is his occupation. Yeah, didn't know that could be a job. I love his laid-back, sly nature.
So not cool pinching stuff that doesn't belong to you.
Not only that, but he's an example of the show's effective storytelling.
You know, D-Dog, if you leg it home now, your dog brains will only explode a little bit.
No need for an origin story, no need for how they met. Just have Fergus call him a nickname and you establish their relationship in less than a second. Another example of the writer's prowess is the way they address how all the Dalmatians live without a human. They don't address it. Well, okay, in the little press show, they say it's because of some millionaire owner who left on vacation, but this character is never referenced in the show once. And I love this. No need to invent a human character the writers don't want to write just to explain the universe. The show is so good anyway, the viewer will suspend their disbelief just not to think about it. The show doesn't waste time. It gets right into what the writers want to write and what you want to see. The fun. The episodes. The series follows a slice of life structure. In other words, the status quo returns to normal by the end of each episode with little to no continuity carried over to the next. With a few exceptions, but let's save that for later. With all the characters, there's a lot of story potential that the show does not disappoint to take advantage of. Different characters can act as a source of conflict from episode to episode, but it's usually Dylan or Dolly at the core of the problem. However, it's not always that simple. Like in Doggy Da Vinci. In this episode, hoping to get funds to fix some home damage, Dylan and Dolly support selling their sister Da Vinci's art on t-shirts. Happy to have her work appreciated, Da Vinci obliges until the repetition and demand result in a waning passion. Da Vinci then learns she isn't even receiving credit and takes to street art. However, the attention she craved lends to her anxiety as a crowd chases her. And of course, Dylan and Dolly recognize their mistake and reconcile. The conflicts have layers from just a wall to Dylan and Dolly's greed to Da Vinci's desire for attention to her anxiety caused by it. Often, the plots develop and evolve organically. Doggy Da Vinci also shows the mature subject matters and complex characters the show is able to portray. Not only that, but the show excels in a sense of satisfaction. For example, the Dalmatians' hoity-toity neighbor Clarissa. Often antagonizing Dolly and her family, the corgi schemes to make them miserable or evict them entirely. One thing I enjoy is how Clarissa manages to be entertaining in her overreactions and snobby demeanor, while also managing to be a genuine threat, like when she tries to infect the Dalmatians' household with fleas and Fleamageddon. However, her plans always backfire spectacularly. Her comeuppance is always satisfying. Another example is when Dylan, the often wimpy doormat, stands up for himself in the episode D Factor, or the other times Dylan is able to prove himself. The episodes give a great sense of gratification. Another strength of the show is the humor. The characters play off each other well.
Why are you lurking in the shadows?
Best place for it.
Not to mention, there's a ton of cute moments.
I'm scheduled to find my inner cat with Guru Meow. Also, stare at my belly button.
The slice of life structure breeds many different situations to show these characters in, and I love it. In an era where cartoons are expected to have a big plot and mystery, 101 Dalmatian Street plays it light. Although not every cartoon has to do this, I enjoy it. I don't want to look up a wikia for some lore before I watch the show, I just want to watch the show. And 101 Dalmatian Street allows you to do just that. Sit back and enjoy the episode. With a few exceptions. Okay, so there is a story arc, but the episodes contributing to it are few and far between. The story consists of this kid Hunter who observes the Dalmatians, gradually learning more about them until he ends up at their doorstep in the episode London We Have a Problem, the halfway point of the series. There is a story arc, but it's really simple. Although I enjoyed the episodes that led up to London We Have a Problem, I can't say the story arc was necessarily tied to them. To see what I mean, let's examine Hunter's presence. This is his first non-background appearance. And he's never referenced again for the rest of the episode. He next appears in the first two-parter, The Nose Job, or more accurately at the end of it. In this episode, the pup Diesel is framed for vandalizing the park. Unraveling the mystery, he and Dylan discover the perpetrator was really Cuddles, Hunter's cat. Throughout the episode, we get shots from Cuddles' spy lens, and by the end of it, the footage lands in Hunter's hands. So he ends the episode, his cat starts the conflict. How is Hunter's arc unnecessary? Well, Cuddles didn't vandalize the park for any reason pertaining to Hunter's search. The writers give Cuddles a different motivation entirely. Cuddles' actions were presented as primarily motivated by revenge, unrelated to Hunter's mission. The plot didn't need Hunter. On the contrary, next up we have a date with Destiny, Dallas, and Deja Vu. Hunter plays a bigger role in this plot as he's the main antagonist, trying to get any fur he can off Triple D. On top of that, his plan instigates the climax of the episode, so Hunter and his plot are necessary here. What about the next episode? That would be Doggy Da Vinci, where amidst the crowd chasing the artist's dog is Hunter. However, when Hunter shows up, no one discerns him from just another member of the crowd. Dylan and Dolly still save the day and make up with Da Vinci. Hunter obstructs them none. Despite Hunter's presence, the core plot remains unaffected. So up until the midpoint, that's only 1 out of 4 episodes Hunter plays an integral role in. 1 out of 5 if you count both parts to the nose job. Because of this, you could say most of what we see of Hunter is superfluous, and I wouldn't dispute that. Although some may see this as a weakness of the series, I see it as a strength. The large majority of the show is slice of life. It's structured to allow watching episodes in any order. Therefore, the episodes should be designed to stand alone. Even if select episodes choose to build up Hunter, for the most part, he's extraneous, meaning these episodes can still be watched and enjoyed for their innate quality. Episodes as great as Doggy Da Vinci or The Nose Job are still accessible to first-time viewers. Meanwhile, those who have kept up with the series will enjoy seeing the arc develop. The show doesn't punish newcomers who walked in a bit late while rewarding fans who've been watching since early on. The climax climax of the Hunter arc occurs in two-parter London, We Have a Problem. The build-up and dark atmosphere along with the new threat really sends an impact. It all comes to a head when Hunter invades the house attempting to catch all the pups to send to Switzerland until the tables are turned. And shockers to no one, Hunter's related to Cruella.
Rain on Cruella? Get me out of here!
Well, where do we go from here?
Huh?
Who cares? Let's go to the beach! Dogs are out for mood whiplash. But after London, We Have a Problem, the story arc is put on a severe 16-episode hold until the pseudo 4-part finale. Once again, with only barely a fifth of the series supporting an overarching narrative, it's not story-driven. However, I consider the slice of life episodes a necessary part to the story arc, even if their plots do not directly contribute to it. Just conflicts started by the pups and solved by them. We learn of their joys and their struggles. The characters' freedom from an overarching narrative tie gives this show about sentient pets a sense of verisimilitude. These episodes convince us of the character's life and therefore support our investment when the DeVilles provide a real danger and fatal threat. Speaking of, let's get right into the finale. The finale consists of 4 episodes: Dante's Inferno, Better the DeVille You Know, and parts 1 and 2 of The DeVille Wears Puppies. Dante's Inferno is a bit unfocused. It starts like a Dante-centered episode, but midway through gets swept up by Hunter. Although I wish they had a smoother transition into the Hunter plot, the unassuming start does well to accentuate the calm before the storm. The escalation in these episodes is done well. Hunter starts taking a direct approach, later hijacks a bus, to finally the puppet master Cruella stepping in. The 4 episodes gradually get more dramatic with increasingly intimidating visuals and elevating stakes. It makes your suspense feel earned. Yet despite the heavier tone, the writers manage to insert humor often. The jokes are fast-paced to the point where by the time you realize there's a joke and laugh, it's back into the frying pan, keeping you immersed in the action. It does a superb balance of comedy and drama. One thing I enjoy is that nearly all of their friends get involved during the climax. It has a nice ragtag team feel that even Clarissa joins in on. The scene did really well to expand her character by showing her defending the Dalmatians for once. As for Hunter, he's given a redemption arc that's executed just as satisfying. 6 months with only kibble turned him into a Danganronpa reference. Or, a dog. His new feral mentality gives him an endearing quality, meanwhile his aunt's treatment towards him allows us to empathize with him.
One last chance to prove you're not completely worthless. Catch those pups and forever forfeit the name DeVille.
It's really effective at getting us to sway our support towards him and his change of heart. And it's just as rewarding to see Hunter along with his new friends save the day. Seeing Cruella get jailed and the pups safe invokes a sigh of relief. Oi, didn't you steal a boss? Redemption arc gotta go. And that's it for season 1 of 101 Dalmatian Street, a show that, if it wasn't obvious enough, I loved. From the characters so various and developed, you're bound to grow an attachment to at least one, to the unique and evolving scenarios that feature them. Following the family of pups through comedic, tense, and tender moments alike, 101 Dalmatian Street Season 1 is an entertaining and engaging romp to the very end. Awaiting Season 2, I've been Zibboyeye and thank you for watching. Zibbo, bye bye!